Previously on Poetically Mused. In the next couple of hours, we will be in the wake of the final full moon of not only this year, but of this decade. My Mystic Diary, your haven for spiritually symbolic reading. This is the Wind Song Crawl of Oracles. Welcome. Ekuale, Ekuabo, Oni mi ojoiti, Ope me tidin logbon o duning bawa mo kindin logum, Me fa o won ojo ikba otutu. What did I just say? Good evening and welcome. Today is Friday, December 27th, 2019, 6 days into winter solstice. And this is iiYansa J. Muse, your divinatory, literary, visual, and performing artist, coming to you with the second night of Kwanzaa and a few of my thoughts. Kujichagulia. Now, Kwanzaa is a very versatile holiday that can be celebrated many ways, but tonight we're going to celebrate it aligned with the mystics because that's just what I do. So let's start with the color red. The more I'm beginning to personalize my Kwanzaa celebrations, I'm seeing that the last 7 days of the year are dealing with two main colors in terms of Kwanzaa. One black and, of course, red and green. And this has a deeper meaning to us than RBG if we allow it to be. The last 7 days of the calendar year can be used, the Kwanzaa principles can be used to create balance in your root, red, and your heart, chakra, green. But tonight we're going to focus on the red, as Kujichagulia falls on self-determination, and that's something that definitely starts in the root of things. Now, self-determination can be a very tricky thing for our people because our identities have been stolen, have been bastardized, have been mixed up, have been through so many things that it is important that we find a way to define ourselves for ourselves because there's lots of mystery in our DNA. And sometimes we don't always know why we're attracted to certain things or why certain things appease to our spirits that other things don't quite hit the mark. So tonight, and celebrating Kujichagulia, discover within what it is that determines you. What is it that motivates you? Last night we explored unity with umoja, identity with self, ego self, spiritual self, unity with family, and unity with community. Now tonight, let's take a deeper look at ourselves, all the way down to the ruby red root. What determines you? And how do you identify yourself? A few points I wanted to make on that with ways to explore self. First, in terms of your lineage. Many of us spend most of our lives learning ourselves and learning other people. But self-identity, self-determination, that's really about self. So let me stick to that point. How do you identify yourself? There are so many ways to do that. The first thing I would suggest is identify yourself in terms of your lineage, your ancestors. How do you learn about your ancestors? Find the eldest person in your family and find out as much as you can about the ones that have gone on before you. And you will find, when you dig in the archives of your own bloodline, you will find a lot of answers to questions about yourself. I know it's very popular that people are getting their ancestries and their lineages done and finding out what parts of the world they come from. And that can be helpful too if that's something that your spirit is open to, and learning in terms of your lineage. How do you identify yourself in terms of spirituality? Well, I would first suggest that you study the spiritual systems that your spirit naturally leads you to. If a certain religious practice or a certain faith, if you will, doesn't really resonate with you, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the faith. That just may not be the path that's for you. Start with being unapologetically honest about where you are and where you stand with everything. And that shows you your strengths, and that shows you the areas that you may need to work on. I don't really believe in weaknesses. I just believe in opportunities to create a stronger strength, if that makes sense. So in terms of identifying yourself spiritually, follow your spirit, listen to your spirit, be in tune with your spirit. Last night's exercise from Umoja was about creating unity with your ego self and unity with your spirit self. Self-determination, or Kujichagulia, is kind of going a little deeper into that in terms of how do you identify your spirit? How do you identify your ego? Now, this may be a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to throw it on the table. Have a moment alone with yourself, if you will. Explore your own boundaries. What are you capable of? What are you incapable of? What are things that bring your spirit joy? What are things that bring your spirit anguish? What sits well with you? What does not? These things help you sort out your identity. Another point I'm going to make is your alias. The names we choose for ourselves. Look at all of your names. Learn the meaning of your birth name. If you have a name in spirit, what does that name mean? All of your social media aliases, do they truly define you? And which part of you do they define? Having a more defined identity has a profound effect on the way that you will live your life and on the way in which you will treat others, the way that you will ultimately treat the world. And I know that seems like a general term, but everything we do affects the society and the universe as a whole. So being more in tune with yourself and in terms of self-identity will ultimately help you to be more mindful of what types of vibrations you're putting into the universe and what you're sending out to come back to you. Now, the other part of Kujichagulia is self-determination. This day and age could not make self-determination easier. You see, there are a lot of negative things being said about social media and computers and technology, but on the brighter side of things, because all things can be good things when put in proper balance. Well, not all things, but you know what I mean. Social media is something that can be put into proper balance and can be a very positive thing. And it's a reflection to the world of what your determination is. So when you use your social medias, are you using them to gain clout for yourself? Are you using them to put a positive message in the world? Are you using it to build a business? What is it that determines you? And what are you showing to the world as a result of that? Now, there will be more videos that'll go deeper into social media and spirituality, but tonight we're just going to focus on the second night of Kwanzaa, which is Kujichagulia, self-determination. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to explore some spiritual cosmologies that rule this day. Ashe.
My love drips honey all over cinnamon thoughts in your mystery. An iiYansa J Muse haiku. Honey, love, relationships, love advice, compatibility, beauty, intimacy, poetry, iiYansa's glass chord, laughter, balance, golds, oranges, yellows, war paint, real talk. It's all inside. Join me every Friday for some honey, love, and war paint on poeticallymused.org/sweet sacred honey gourd. Follow Honey, Love, and War Paint by iiYansa J. Muse on all social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Hellonis, SoundCloud, and the blog. Ashe.
Okay, so we're back. Night 2. 2 is the number of the divine feminine. And 2020, the year we're going into, is double the 2, 2/4, which is mastery and foundation. So, mastering the nurturing aspect, nurturing the matriarchal sense, and all of us have it, males and females alike, to build a stronger foundation for the future. The day itself, December 27th, 2019, the day vibrates on a 6, the daily numerology. Now there will be more classes and stuff like that available to discuss numerology and how to come up with the power number of the day. But today vibrates on a 6. Now biblically, that's considered to be the day of the beast, or the day of the flesh, the day the man was created. The flesh. The carnal energy, the red, also deals with the flesh. So perhaps that cosmic alignment of the day is calling us to use this principle to channel our carnal, fleshly energy into things that make the world a greater good in terms of spirit. Because the ego can either work for the spirit or the spirit can work for the ego. It's all in which way you choose to balance it. So I'm here that it may be a positive influence, that your root chakra energy will be channeled up and through your spirit. Tonight's moon. Last night was the last new moon of this decade in the house of Capricorn. Now tonight the moon is waxing in Capricorn. So this is a good time to increase your vibrations and send out prayers into the universe in terms of where your material values are and why you want them. Because the Capricorn is the 10th house of the zodiac that is ruled by the trickster planet of Saturn. And Saturn is the trickster energy is more so that crossroad between the flesh and the spirit again. So a lot of that energy is dealing in this year's Kwanzaa. Keep in mind, Uranus is still in retrograde, so whatever your higher intuition is telling you to do, you may want to jump on it. The Capricorn is a half goat, half mermaid, or a sea goat, a nymph type of animal, if you will. Now, the goat climbs mountains. The goat is a loner, but the fin is to navigate through the waters of life, I suppose. So in waxing in Capricorn, what does this have to do with, how do you connect this to Kujichagulia? Well, what determines you and the way you identify has everything to do with why you want material value. All of us are talking about abundance and prosperity and how 2020 is going to be a very great and abundant year, and it is. But everything comes with a test. So the waxing moon in Capricorn, connected to Kujichagulia, is asking, are you determined to have abundance, to gain power for the right reasons or for the more self-serving reasons? So that's something to meditate on as well when you light tonight's red candle. Also, today's Friday, so Venus rules the day. So there's a lot of love in this. So be kind to yourself when you're exploring the things that determine you and exploring your identity. Because sometimes when we're growing, we can be our own hardest critics. We can be very self-critical, and that isn't always conducive to growth, because there's a lot to undo when you're choosing the higher path of spirit. That's why it's called the road less traveled. So Venus is saying be kind to yourself, because when you're kind to yourself, it's a lot easier for you to be kind to other people. So let love rule this red day of Kujichagulia. Gonna take one more quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to have tonight's tarot draw, and then we're going to dress the candle and light it. Okay? Ashe. Be right back.
54. Beautiful mirrors reflect enchanted journeys in a single glance. An iiYansa J Muse haiku. Treat yourself to an inner revelation from all 5 points of yourself with one of my favorite signature spreads. iiYansa Star Spread is what I speak of. It brings revelation from all 5 points of balance. Choose your tarot deck from the Mother Peace Round, the Egyptian Tarot, the Mayan Oracle, the Medicine Woman Healing Deck, the Cardamancy, better known as the good old-fashioned pack of playing cards, and 2 Spirit Guide Oracle decks to choose from. Also choose your payment option, Cash App or PayPal. Cash App $iiiYansa, PayPal SCRIBESSMUSE@gmail.com, and specify whether you would like your readings returned to be email or postal. I include a little something extra for those who love the snail mail. Ready to see your spirit from all 5 points? Consult iiYansa J Muse for a star spread reading. Ashe.
And we're back. So tonight's tarot draw came from the Medicine Woman Healing Deck, which is the tarot deck that I use on Fridays for Honey, Love, and War Paint. I'll get to that in just a moment. Let's do the read. And as you can see, it's the 11 card, the Justice card, and the card of balance. The zodiac sign that resonates with this major arcane card is Libra, which is the scale of balance. As you can see, it's an 11-2, which vibrates on the day, second day of Kwanzaa, 2. And its message is teaching of self-discipline and placing your energy towards what you truly value. Isn't that what we just said about self-determination? Yes, and this card must be preparing us for tomorrow because it resonates on green. And that's for tomorrow's Ujima. But for tonight, the balance card calls us to look at ourselves and look at both sides of the scale. What weight do we need to drop, and how can we make ourselves lighter? In terms of our identity, what can we give back that doesn't truly identify us? What can we dismiss ourselves from that doesn't truly identify us? What crowds must you create distance with? What foods must we stop eating? Which words must we stop using? And so on and so forth, until that scale is balanced and light, and you can look in the mirror and see yourself and your true guise in your spirit and in the spectrum of your ego, and they are in balance and in harmony. And in that moment, you will have found your identity. And once your identity has a foothold in its grounding, then you can explore your self-determination. What is it that determines you? What moves you? Making the world a better place? Getting money? Making beautiful things? Sharing beautiful things? What is it that determines you? And align that with your higher spiritual calling. And in doing so, you will have achieved spiritual balance. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to my blog and Instagram and Facebook entitled Honey, Love, and War Paint. The link is in the description box below. Also, I have a poem that I will share that I wrote just for Kujichagulia that is available on Etsy.
I painted this one red for you. Listen. Kujichagulia. Ope metililokbon. December 27th. Mojumi Meji. Night 2. Ope Mejidilokbon. Search deep inside of you, sage to the sky, unified and divine. After that is all. Taking my name back in a cast iron grip, I don't mean to snatch, but too many words attached to my spirit that just don't match. Determined to define me for me, identity reclaimed, so let it be. Kujichagulia. letter by letter in various tongues if need be. In fact, it's better. Gold is dust to us with no comparison with cheddar. Magic melanin more than many we said we are as origins of humanity we're required to raise the bar. Like Xerox over and over so copied inside we know what we're not to be. Reflections of ancestors of fuel seed. Cast your reflection and say nothing can ever stop me in Mujuna Veji. Thought, word, deed, manifest, and let planetary grooves do the rest. No dung tribes will shun it, opposition is a test, leaving my aura to suggest like rain and breezes so fresh, and a crimson candle's flame request and light my way. Mujuna Meji. Say it loud, say it clear, fill in the blank. Identity, sign, your name. Happy Kujichagulia from iiYansa Muse. 2019 Moon Day, December 23rd. The sun vibrates on a 2, moon waning, and Sagittarius.
And we're back. As we can see, the scenery has changed just a little bit. And this is my handmade kinara, which is made from my custom bottle art pieces from iiYansa's glass gourd. I'm celebrating 5 years of bottle art making. I'm kind of trying to keep my head out of the shot so that you can see the art. So, as you can see, the space here is empty from where the first night of Kwanzaa's candle was burned, and that was the emoji candle correlated with the black bottle here. And Kujichagulia is the one to the far left. This one. So here's our Kujichagulia bottle. And we're going to prepare to light the candle. Representative to Kujichagulia. Before I do, let's keep in mind, yes, that we are celebrating Kwanzaa mystic style. And what does that mean? That means that everything has a metaphysical balance, even in celebrating Kwanzaa. And so traditionally, red candles are used to ignite passion, to ignite lust, Lord have mercy, ignite love, and also to either raise or calm anger. Dressing candles is also something that's very traditional in mystic practices. So this is my blessed shea butter, if you will. As you can see, it's got the citrine and rose quartz and African turquoise charging this beautiful thing. Be sure to hit me in my inbox if you want some of your own sacred blessed shea butters. I do make these, and I'm in the process of building my mystic gift shop. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and let's meditate on something. Meditation and intention is always very important. So as I'm doing this, you too can meditate on how you can increase and create a more stable sense of self-determination and identity. Now that the candle is dressed some, we are ready to light our Kujichagulia candle. Are we ready? Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Now, of course, in cosmic traditions, anytime you light a candle with a certain intent, you want to let it burn until it burns all the way out. So we're going to take the Kujichagulia candle and we're going to place it in its rightful space on the Kinara. And I'm going to place my bottle right back next to it. And consider your request to the universe answered. Thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Kujichagulia. This is the very first year of what I plan to keep a tradition going every year, Kwanzaa with iiYansa, if you want to celebrate it mystically and for the cosmos. Be sure to visit my Etsy store to download all 9 of my poems for the album Kwanzaa for the Cosmos. It's one for each night of Kwanzaa. Then there's a general Kwanzaa poem and a poem that I wrote in tribute to the SHAPE Community Center for 50 years of service, because the SHAPE Community Center in Houston, Texas is where I first started celebrating Kwanzaa. So folks out there, it's up to us to make our own holidays as big as all the other ones. So let's celebrate them and celebrate them big. And those of you that are celebrating Kwanzaa in different traditions, I'd love to see them. I'd love to hear from them. So please feel free to share your ways of celebrating Kwanzaa. Ashe, join me tomorrow evening for the Diary of Ujima. Good night. Thanks.
Did you enjoy the sweet taste of the honey, love, and war paint from my sacred gourd of wisdom? Then you may want to meet me at the crossroad tomorrow to make sure you do the right thing with it. You're not afraid, are you? Ashe.